All right, so it's May 5th, 2018, 5:35, almost 5:40. So I wanted to make a blog, Cinco de Mayo. I just watched Infinity Wars, Infinity War, Avengers movie. It was good. Loved it actually. It was amazing. So it was I can't even say how much I loved it. It was cool for a comic book nerd to be like to see all these characters in the same movie, and like really cool. I couldn't have imagined a much better movie. So that was one thing. So I kind of want to continue what I was talking about, but I forgot what I was talking about. So let's see. You know, so it's weird. So the current situation is I'm in Butte County. Feels like I got stuck in the mud for a while. So I've been stuck in this place where other people are controlling my surroundings and my abilities to make money. And so I'm kind of stuck where, kind of being herded by whatever. That's how I feel, and I'm pretty sure it's accurate. I know. I don't know. So I'm 41 already. So the issue with that is that I'm an artist, and I'm excited about creating, but I definitely need money. You know what I mean? There's no other solution other than making money off this. So some of this stuff, this box that I've been put in, is keeping me from making money because, but as time keeps going, it's getting broke down. But the issue is that I don't got really time to waste on all this, on proving that I'm a good person or whatever, or trying to play nice in a world that's pretty violent. So I'm making these videos, and I going through my past so that I can explain some of this stuff that's out there. I know people don't care. I know people are like, it's funny because when people get like accused of stuff or whatever, and then the media is all about it, and then they get then they find out it's not true or whatever, but then the media is not there to publicize that part of the story. So really, accusations are a power game to ruin people's careers, and lives. Really, like, you can, even if the accusations ain't true, it's still gonna plague that person forever until retribution happens. So there is retribution. So I don't know how the masses work and people work around you, but if people really care about what was already said about my life, it doesn't matter to the whole rest of the world, but it matters to me. So that's why I'm talking. So and really, everybody else's business is not my business, but I do live in this world, and I have seen crazy shit, not just man-made stuff, but like, the world's going through a lot of stuff. So that's really more important to me, or more interesting to me, than my own personal life. My own personal life, though, like I said, I can't make money until So I talk about it and apologize for anybody that's included in my story. I'm trying to be kind about it. So what was I gonna say? So I was living. Okay, actually, let's go. This is what happened. I don't know if this part is all true, but the weird thing about the situation, and I don't know. I don't know the details, like I'm gonna say this, and I don't, it's kind of fearful for me to say it, but so yeah, I don't know, like, okay, so I started so I started working with voice, and I don't know when. Okay, so I was I got invited to this party with Seward, and I go to this place, and it's like this house in Chico, like some 2-story house, like white, Victorian kind of house. Felt like downtown, so it was like, college people there too, and I don't know who owned the house. Obviously it was some rich people, because I kind of was not invited. I was kind of like not in the element. And let's say it like this, like, really, like I said, other people's issues are not my issues, but this is part of the folklore that's people want to lie to me. People want to like put all this crazy stuff in my life to whatever they want to do. It's not really, never been my interest, like I mean, it's in my interest because I live here on Earth and Butte County and all this stuff like that, but it's really, I think, it's gonna get fixed in the right way through natural selection. So I guess this is part of natural selection. We'll see. So, and the reason that it's crazy, okay, so this part, it's gonna sound, all this stuff is crazy, so it shouldn't even be a surprise to myself or anyone else. And it's been so long that nobody even cares, so at least I don't. Anyway, so I went to this house, and then they're like, hey, you guys got to take off. We're gonna have our after party or whatever. I don't know. I forget exactly how that happened, but so I had to go. I was one of the people not invited to the party, and Seward was, I guess. And so I was like, okay, whatever, He's like, oh, well, I'll just go leave and then come back. And I was like, what? Like, I don't want to be nowhere where I'm not invited. And he's like, no, it's cool, man. Just. So I was like, fuck these people, fuck everybody. Like, I don't need, like, I wasn't even having that much fun here anyway. It wasn't my kind of crowd. I mean, at the end, this guy came and brought out a violin, or I don't know what it was, a guitar, and then we started jamming a little bit, and it was like, all right, that was fun to me. So we were jamming a little bit, and then the party ended or whatever. So I was like, all right. So I go. I don't know. These dudes had a van because I didn't have a way to get home. So these 2 dudes, like young dudes, I don't know if one guy was black or Asian, I don't know what they were, but they were like, I forget now, but they seemed like college kids or whatever. And so I get in the car with our van with these guys, and I tell them that I'm like, yeah, just driving around the corner or whatever, and then I was gonna do what Seward said or whatever, go check it out, party with rich people. I was like, all right. So they were like, all right, and so they did that, and then I talked to him for a while. I forgot what I said to him. I forgot even who these people were. It was like a black dude with glasses or something. I don't know, like young guy. And then I can't really remember who they were, but and then I remember there was this one guy that was a great musician. He was a really good musician. I was like, I wanted to start a band with him. I was like, damn, but I don't think we ever. I didn't like that never happened. But I remember he was a really good musician. He was like a brown dude. Like that's why I was like, oh man, I want to start a band with that dude because it was like, like an out of towner dude, but very talented. And I forgot exactly. I haven't thought about this forever, but I remember that. I think it was that same party. Actually, no, the wrong party. Or wait, was it the same party? Fuck, dude, I forgot all about that moment. That was another thing. Seward took me to all these different places. Like that was what he would take me to fucking parties here and there in Chico, and it always ended up being jamming music at the end of the night. And I remember those guys were these other guys. They were different people. So there's one guy, One Up or whatever his name was. He was like a musician around town, and I remembered him from before. Something happened like at an open mic or something, and like he had a famous band, or I don't know if somehow we were in competition, like, and I did, or he was famous, or I don't know, he was like well known at the time at the town, and then I came in with my guitar or playing, and then these two guys that were jamming with him, we were all sitting around and drinking some beers, and then we were jamming, and then I started playing some songs, and those guys were jamming with me, and they were like, fuck dude, this guy's good. And we're like, hey, then these two out of towner guys, this one white guy and this one brown dude, we're like, yo, fucking let's fucking start a band and shit. And they were like, hey, and they looked at each other like, hey, fucking should we start something band and everything? And they got like, yeah, fucking this guy's good. And that one guy, One Up guy or whatever, was like pissed off because he was like, I kind of took his fire, and he was kind of like, we knew each other he knew me at least from around town or whatever. I think there was a girl involved. I think some girl, like his girlfriend or something, was like, something happened between us or whatever, or not between us, but like there was some jealousy. I remember, because I remember being at the party with them and thinking like, oh, like, sitting across from him, and we kind of he was trying to be like showing off or whatever, and because of whatever happened before. And I remember thinking like, like, oh, like what? Why, you don't have to be like that. And then when I played my music, and then the guys were like, oh, he got real extra mad. And then, because I remember seeing him after. I don't know if he was from Paradise, but somehow him and Seward knew each other somehow. So there was always issues with other musicians around town, kind of like that, competition stuff. And so these out-of-towners were like, dude, I can start a band with you and stuff. And I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. So I remember leaving, and then, I think that was a different party. So this other party was these rich people kicking me out of the house, and these other, other college kid people. So I went around the corner, went back to the house, and they were kind of like, yeah, the party's over, like you guys can't come in. I was like, fuck, this guy told me I could or whatever, and because I was stuck, I didn't have a ride now, and something like that. And then, so they let me in, because Seward says, yeah, and I think that's when the guy busted out some music stuff, and we actually started playing some music, and then eventually he was like, yeah, I'll drive you home or whatever. So I was like, all right, thank you. So there was no fucking event happened, nothing happened at the party, which was whatever. And so while this dude's driving me home, he's saying he went to a party forever, like he was at a party, or at like a festival or whatever, and he was coming down from 7 days of shrooms, or I don't know how many days of doing psychedelics or whatever. I don't know. And so the dude like says something like his family plays violin or creates violin, so he's from family money. The only reason I'm saying this is because like people keep like coming into my life and like making these fake stories and stuff, and I'm just tired of it. Like I'm tired of these people trying to camouflage whatever's going on. So I'm just gonna telling on everybody so that they can fucking stop trying to come into my life making fake ass shit happen. Like, and hopefully history will be able to. We're in a crazy world, man. There's no fucking promises of tomorrow, and I'd rather people know the truth than other people creating truth about me. And like I said, at the same time, like everybody in the world, like cops, robbers, fucking politicians, like Russian, American, Chinese, Mexican, everybody, I'm not really interested in that. So like, I believe my beliefs are more spiritual, first of all. That's why I'm not really scared. Like whatever happens next, is fine for me. But at the same time, like while I'm here, I want to live a positive life, and So anyway, so I don't want to cause trouble for anybody, but Anyway, so and like I said, people don't care. People already know we can feed everyone, but we don't, for whatever reason. So really the masses they really do like fucking soap operas. So there's everybody kind of feels powerless. That's the problem. Even Trump and all these people running shit, they don't know what they're doing either. Like everyone's just continuing whatever happened before, and I'm in the place where I'm already 41, and it doesn't matter to me. Like the people feel that they're running stuff ain't really running stuff. We're just continuing this cycle. So whatever. As an artist, like I refuse to be boxed in and told how to be. So anyway, so this guy's like telling me his life story. Says something like I said, before too, like people like telling me their life story. I've always been that guy since I was a kid. Like, I always like listening, asking people life important questions, like it's interesting to me, and it's interesting to normal people. I'm not trying to oust the guy, but the story's already out. Like that's the thing, is like people already been asking me this stuff. So I'm just telling the real version. So this guy's like saying something. He's like, oh, something important's gonna happen, and like they give checks. Like I got a $15,000, $25,000 check in the mail, and he's like some crazy ass conspiracy shit. Like, and I'm just sitting there in fucking side of the car, like thinking, or in the passenger side, thinking like, well, like. First of all, I've always been weary of government and all, and but I just didn't know anything. But I'm pretty naive even to this day, and idealistic. So, but I was like, yeah, I'll fight that. How long has slavery been going on? How long do rich people get free money and tax breaks and all? So it was nothing new to me. I was just like, okay, yeah, that's probably, damn, you get fucking $25,000. Fucking, I didn't get $25,000. Like, whatever, like. So he's saying, some crazy shit's gonna happen or whatever. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, fuck, I don't know why I'm even telling you all this stuff. And I'm like, me neither. And, but I was just like, whatever, like, and then I remember after, I don't know when all this happened and stuff, but I think it was because everyone was doing well in the Bay Area, people buying houses and all this stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, like, all this foreclosures happening and everything like that, right? So I didn't put two and two together really, like, but and then something happened with the banks and the bailout and stuff like that, and so I was like, shit, something, that was pretty crazy. All that stuff happened. So I kind of was thinking, like, fuck, was that part of it? Like, because, at the time, the $700 billion bailout was a big deal, where it was like, fuck, dude, like, did that really just happen? Like, is our economic system really, like, in a bad place? So for the community that people lost all their houses and all that stuff, it was a lot of money, like, people changed their action, the landscape of the Bay Area, like, it was a power play, like, and the reason that I'm saying it as a factual thing, I'm not saying the two are connected, like the guy saying this and the other stuff, but the issue with being Mexican and all that stuff was that they were giving hella good jobs in the Bay Area, and people were buying like the loans, when they were giving hella loans, and everyone, because the guy and this friend of Seward was like buying a house and like saying, yeah, I'm buying 2 houses, and dude, it was like some poor motherfucking mountain dude like myself, and like buying houses. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, so it was going on everywhere where they were giving loans out for free and shit, and then everyone started losing their houses and stuff, and then, especially in the Bay, they couldn't pay it back. And so the movie then recently, like a few years ago, there was a movie that spoke about how Wall Street did that. It had those couple movies actually, but one was the Hulk guy, the guy that plays the Hulk now, I think was in it or something. And the guy from The Office and all that stuff. So Hollywood picked up on it, and they made a movie about it, and they minimized the role. They made it sound like it was just like this group of people that were looking at the landscape of how to make money in this thing that was conspiracy thing that was going on. So I don't know exactly what the story is, because we all don't know. It's like 9/11 shit. Who knows what the fuck really happened? But the public kind of, there's a lot of weary people about the facts of that, but no one's gonna admit it or whatever. Same thing with like, this shit's Game of Thrones shit. So who am I, other than a dude that's good at puzzles, I'm not saying that I'm always right, but my mind works that way. So, and like I said, fuck, you just put me to work for the government, and fucking I could be patriotic, but really 41. The people that are my age are running shit. So all the people that I went to school with nobody's smarter than me. I'm not smarter than anyone else, but we're all, whoever concentrates on what they're good at is good at it, and I just happen to be good at being artistic and intuitive. So, and I'm really stupid at other stuff, so like saying this shit on YouTube, but I believe in humanity. I believe, that I'm not the missing link or something, but I believe that humans are going through an evolution, and I choose to be on the side of progress other than the side of people that want to keep the world the same. So I'm throwing this out like Tupac said, fucking, I might not be the mind that changes shit, but I'm gonna help out the people that change shit. So I have hope in the next generation. I'm hoping that with this technology and all this stuff like that, human will evolve and be less selfish around the world, and this power play stuff. People will be more spiritual and find higher meaning to life instead of power. And but right now we're still in the old world where people that are running stuff, there's still this power play stuff, this fakery, and I'm not trying to be no fucking martyr or nothing either, but whatever. I'm an artist, and it makes my art makes people understand what's going on with me in my life, and even if it's just in my head and people planted it in my head, that's fine. But at least this is what fucking people done or faked it. So I'm not crazy. This is just shit that my community felt like what happened in my life, in my community, and whatever. So this dude happened. This is what I see in the government during my time in life. This ain't Vietnam. But so it's Vietnam. No, I'm just kidding. So yeah, fuck, dude, that was crazy. So the movie, and there was another one with Brad Pitt and all this stuff like that. I don't know if that was the same one, but they pretty much made a movie about it, and I guess what I saw was that they took money away from, they took people's houses, fucking did a fucking fucked up thing. They took out the middle class. That's what really happened. For whatever reason's going on in America, like everybody's been talking about it. It's on the news. Like if you're smart, you know that shit's changing. The economic system's changing. Fucking Bitcoin, all that stuff, and the fucking Facebook and internet, and the world's changing. So this was before some stuff happened. So from that time, things changed all kinds. From the $700 bill in bailout. The landscape, the political landscape of the world has changed. There's some shit going on with China, all that stuff. So I'm not just making this shit up out of nowhere. This is like just being aware of what's going on in world politics, from what they tell us on the news, and this these people that are media, people that that say stuff on internet news, but really like conspiracy theorists, whatever, like just information. That we get on real news, normal news, mixed in with world news. So, and then Hollywood, which is, so they kind of said, something about immigrants, and they were kind of targeting immigrants, take away, make them pay for houses and then getting them loans. Same thing with student loans, like how they've gotten people to owe a lot of money for student loans. So it's a power play to, same thing with prisons. There was a whole documentary that Oprah and this lady did about prison system, and so all this information is coming out against the old systems that, because nowadays we can actually see what's going on. We can look it up, the information ourselves, and kind of like have an alternative point of view of world events, and have people like me, I watch YouTube and I watch Facebook or whatever, and people rant about their life and their world. Like, it's interesting, like fucking ocean is, and I saw this documentary the other day. It was like the ocean was rising on these people's houses. I don't know if I mentioned it. I've been talking about it to people here and there. So there's some real stuff going on that the government or whoever, people in power, and people are stupid, so they don't want to. I think it's a good thing. Let's just say it like that. I think it's a positive thing. I don't think, what do you call that? Climate change is going to be negative. It could be negative for a little while, but in the overall thing of things, it's going to be positive. So these are things. I'm a writer. I'm an artist. I write fiction. I write comic books. I write. No, so all this stuff is interesting to me. World politics, current events is interesting to me. I'm not alone in this. I'm not just some conspiracy theorist guy that thinks about this all the time, even though I kind of do think about it all the time nowadays. The reality is, there's a lot of humans that think about this stuff, like, so that's just my little piece. That's what happened in my world. I don't know if it's true or not. And that was just one piece. I'm gonna keep going through these. Really, I'm just making this just to document it, so that I could sell some artwork, man. You guys would be like, so instead of being thrown in the hole, I'm getting myself out of this hole or this mountain or whatever, like, because bullshit, man. There's people like me everywhere. Artists has always been silenced. They used to hang poets and whatever. So this is an artist not agreeing with the world, and really, like, I'm here to make things better. So I would appreciate support of the people, and for the people running stuff, I'm not here to mess up your guys' stuff. Like, even though I'm idealistic, I'm also a realist as well. So I don't really have a political party I'm associated with, but I believe that there is a way to have there's answers that are a better alternative. But I'm pretty naive in a lot of stuff, so I'm not trying to be some hero guru guy. I'm sure the people in power know what at least know kind of what they're doing. But it seems like there's other people around my community. I got buried, man. Okay, so here's another one. Let me just go through this one too. No, fuck it. So there's this idea of this thing with so when I was working at Voice, there was this at the continuation school in Paradise. I would have to go to these schools and, like, get people to go to the art classes and talk and say, hey, this is what we're doing with Voice, and can you submit your poetry and your art? And so that would happen, and then we'd give books away. So we'd give the books to the kids or whatever. And so while I was doing that, one of the teachers or something was telling me about how there was this kid that was submitting paraphernalia, like writings or books or whatever, about joining white nationalistic stuff, like white power stuff. And this is not abnormal for country people or people in the mountains, or a community that's poor, that poor white folks that meth and what I noticed is, like, a lot in California, a lot of these small towns have meth problems. Like, it's an epidemic, big deal. And I know people talking about opioids and everything like that, but meth is something that I've seen in my world, in my personal life, not particularly me or anyone, not in my life, but in my family's life here, and in the communities that I've lived in. I've seen it, all of us seen it. All of us seen how meth affects communities and people. So I know people that are still involved in that world. Not personal, not like on a daily basis or nothing, but it's ingrained and shit. So how I feel about it, I think people were, I wish the best for people that are addicted to drugs or whatever is going on with them. But I've personally never been, but some of the people I've loved the most in life have been torn down by drugs. So I'm an expert in that field of wishing that there was an answer to it, and my songs and my poetry and my art kind of have that. I didn't hide away from that part of my life because I believe as a California kid from Oroville and Gilroy and San Martin and Chico, like I've seen it too much. It's the worst. It's one of the worst things that I've ever seen, and I hate it. And I have strong beliefs that. Anyway, so that's how I feel about meth in general, or specifically. Other drugs, there's a lot of other drugs. I do believe that they, should do the Amsterdam thing and make it legal. Make it legal enough, like cigarettes and alcohol, but at the level of, if you want to do acid or if you want to do heroin or whatever, like it's other drugs that I don't know if they regulate it, how they regulate it, but like, you get a prescription for it, or you have a certain place you can do it, or you provide clean needles. There's a lot of radical things that I believe society needs to do so that it's not controlled. Kind of like having an abortion. So instead of making abortion illegal, you have it legal so you can regulate it and make it safe for people that want abortion. But at the same time, people that want abortions can't just have abortions just as a birth control either. So there's people that are smarter than me that's been working on these subjects. So I'm not going to say that I know more, but those are just my personal theories about it. So as far as racism and stuff like that, I was in Butte County during this time that there was a resurgence of white nationalistic stuff during the Bush era, and I had to be here to be part of it. Be Mexican in a very, Paradise was really known for its racism. This Nazi kind of thing going on, and I think it's close. It has a lot to do with meth, because people that are poor and don't have anything going, and then they do meth, and then they like. Because I was in playing music in rock bands, and like, so some of the friends of friends would be in this world, and so I got to see it, and I'm like, fuck, dude, this. So it was pretty bad. Like, have to be around these people that I'm like, I'm trying to do good, trying to go to school and all this stuff, and I keep getting surrounded by all these people that are living this nightmare. So anyway, so through the voice thing, small town stuff. It's like just kind of like that one Walking Tall with The Rock or whatever, Dwayne Johnson. Like it's kind of like that, casino, and then the people selling drugs, and then all. It's like, dude, like these people running town doing all this crazy shit. It's not right. So So that continues. So I don't know what's going on. Working with voice, working with Seward, working with this dude named Lenny, working with these other people, and I start like, saying, hey, what's going on, like, because these people were all from Paradise, and I was just kind of like starting to call people on some stuff here and there. I was like, hey, like, I don't really like those comments, or hey, like, just kind of challenging their culture by saying, what I believe, or whatever. I'm not saying that I'm better than anybody else or that I know more, but we just happen to have different. And Seward knew this when he first met me. That's why I'm kind of upset about it, because it's like, dude, you brought me in. You knew that I was playing music and an artist and all this stuff, and and that's what you asked me to do, is just come in and be an artist. And so I'm not like a caretaker. And so he kept trying to put me in that role, and I'm like, but not really. So it was kind of weird. It was like, I want to help people. I wish, I understand their plight. I understand like being in a poor community and being an artist and like wanting to do better. So I was there to help out, but I wasn't, the kind of guy that wanted to be um, held to that teacher level, or being a mentor, or being that's a big deal. It is, to be a police officer. You need to have integrity. You need to be, you're at a level of power that you need to try to do the best you can. And the same thing with teachers and principals and all that stuff. And I understand that, and I agree with that. And that's why I'm also saying my truth, because it's like, man, I tried my best. Like, and I did good. I did hella good. So I don't know what else other than that part. Okay, so other than saying my truth that I can do. We're all human too, so we gotta also understand. So I'm not, even if you believe in white pride, or if you believe in, you're Republican or whatever it is that's different than my point of view. Like, I'm not trying to say that Republicans don't know what they're talking about, because like, I understand more that I'm older, that it's good to have police officers taking care of the streets, and like regulating this stuff, like this weed stuff. Like, it's kind of out of hand, but at the same time, like, I'm hoping for the best. Like, you got to be 21 to buy cigarettes now, and all this stuff's changing. It's weird. It's so weird. So anyway, so this happened, and during that time, I kept hearing stuff about, like, because all these people from the military were coming back, and so there was like a lot of people my age and younger that were ex-military, that were like, so all these issues of like people that having problems with like PTSD. And so I started seeing, like, doing these art shows and all that stuff, like a lot of like in the Chico community, like these underground, like Chico, like kind of like narcs. They were kind of like these old people that were like dreadlocks, and they, I kind of got the narc thing. I started like getting vibes like that. These guys were at the parties, or at this bars and out in the street and nights in Chico, and like some of them look kind of weirdos, like just standing there like, you keep seeing them, you're like, oh, who the hell, why is that old dude out here all the time, like gray ass hair, or this dude in wheelchairs on the street. And like, it's kind of like, getting just to know the community. Is like, okay, I'm no longer just like some dude visiting Chico. Like, I'm starting to go check out bands here and there and be part of the scene and whatever. So it's like started recognizing people. It's like, oh. So the Crazy Horse got remade. It was like this other bar. It went through a few different names, and then so there was a resurgence of like cowboy culture and hipster culture. So these people, and if you know about hipster culture, it was created by some, white nationalist kind of people. I don't know what the word white nationalist means, but it sounds nicer than white supremacist. So I don't know. And like I said, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to any groups. Like, really, like, if you're proud of who you are, cool. But for any race or color, like, or any country or whatever, creed, religion, like, people got everybody. There's too much to just blame one group of people. And if people want to group up in that whatever way they want to group up, I'm not here to be like, oh, all the world's problems are these people's problems, but are from these people. I'm just telling you what happened in my personal life, and it doesn't make sense without this. So you kind of understand why I've been hesitant to talk about this stuff. So I don't know if it was created or fake or what, but so somehow, and this was stuff that was going on when I was dealing with my ex-girlfriends, and all these girls were coming around, and like a lot of shit happened, like trying to raise my kid, like a lot of stuff happened. So I just ended up being in the middle of all this stuff, and the reason I'm blabbermouthing about it is because these people included me without me wanting to be included. I was just trying to do my own thing. All these, and I understand now why some people might have done that, but I don't think, it's worthy of being a faked reality. Like, I need to cleanse my own mind, like, and this is part of, like, I gotta call people out on their shit, like, I refuse to have people make little stupid jokes that have no ground in reality, or are really somebody else's stuff. Like, I'm not going down for somebody else that I never even had a part of their thing. I'm only responsible for myself. Let's say it like that. I love everybody. I wish the best for everybody. So these people were talking about this Fight Club stuff, or I don't know what it was, because I was doing farmers market and playing music and all this stuff. So these people kept like, and some of it was fake. So I know some of it was fake. So I don't know if they were just acting like it, because the way Seward came in, and he seemed to be like the middleman or whatever. And it was weird, because when I was doing the synthesis shows, I had forgotten. I kind of had, because when I came back from Daly City, and me and the girl broke up, like, she moved back to San Francisco, and I was like in Chico doing all this stuff, and what was it? Oh yeah, so when the synthesis show things started happening, I did a couple of them already, and by the third one, Seward came in, and the issue with that, batteries died, was that people were like starting to come in and trying to, sabotage stuff and mess things up for whatever reason, whatever. But I remember him coming in. We just had like a clash of he kind of wanted me to be part of his group, and like, he wanted to be my boss, really. Like, he was like, hey, like, kind of, when things started working and I was doing all this art and doing all this stuff and it was successful, he kind of came in and was like, at the synthesis thing, when I was trying to put the third one together or whatever, he was kind of like, because he was teaching at Butte and doing all his things. So we hadn't really hung out for a while, and he was kind of like, oh, like, you're doing this stuff without me. I can help if you want or whatever. Because he knew all these people before. He was almost like the guy that introduced me to these people. But I knew them before even that. So it wasn't. So I don't know. It was all mixed in. Like, it was all like Paradise and Chico and Orville were all kind of like, it was people from everywhere doing these things, doing these little art shows and music shows and everything. So he was like, oh, maybe I should follow you, but saying it sarcastically and kind of hurt, kind of like he wanted me to be part of Voice forever, because he was still trying to do Voice. And when I first got back, he left somewhere, and then his mom or somebody asked me to do the last issue of Voice, and I was like, yeah, okay, I did it. And we did a show, and then once I said yeah, and they were gonna pay me and everything, then he came back from town and was just showed up and was kind of just there, and I was like, so I don't know what happened with that. And he kind of did that with Butte too, and so I was just like, I have the power and the ability to lead and to make cool things happen, but he wanted to be part of the show, and I was like, okay. So anyway, so when I started doing all this other stuff in Chico, all these shows, he kind of made an appearance after and was like, hey, like, maybe I should follow you, but saying it in a way where he was unhappy about it. And I was like, and I kind of had tested him before that too, like, or during that conversation, I was like, well, your mom really made Voice happen, like, she was the driving force in that, because it was really me and him that really made Voice, fueled it, made the artistic part of it relevant, and the business side of it and the computer stuff. And so he really brought a lot. When he was running Voice, I was following him, and I did it I was loyal. I did it, and he was the leader, and I was just following what he wanted to, how to make it look and how to run the show. So really, I was just like, okay, I'm here, for a paycheck, but I'm really, I want it to be successful too. And he was doing cool shit. He was doing he was helping people do music stuff, and he was doing, the comic book stuff, which I was a comic book guy, but he was like, making it happen where we go to Voice and stuff. So it had a lot of potential during the height of it. When I left, he didn't want me to leave, and he even told my girlfriend at the time, don't take him, don't take him, from here. She told me later, years later. But I was like, what? He said that? Like, because he knew I was in love with this girl, and like that I was going to follow her. So it's kind of like, I don't know what to think about that part, but as far as, I didn't want to be controlled, and so a lot of people in my life wanted to control me, have me part of their life, and I'm not a side character for nobody. So nobody should be a side character for anybody, and these people ain't side characters for me. I think there's we were all lead characters in our own story, and the best way to do it is to help each other achieve our potential, so that we can have all positive, good stories, our good lives. We strengthen each other. It's like being Thor and Captain America. Yeah, you could be part of the Avengers, but then, you have your own book, you have your own title. So that's kind of how I saw it, but he wanted to be the boss and only me be in the Avengers book, and he's the leader. I'm like, nah, I got my own book, and I might make my own team. And that's kind of where he was getting at, like, oh, well, I want to be the boss. And I was like, from the day we met, like, it was never that way. I don't know why you wanted to be my boss when I was already doing stuff. So it was kind of that from the whole time. We always had that kind of tension between us. Like, but like I said, I always adhered to people that were good at leading, and he was good at leading. He was good at all the people that were involved with voice. He was the center of all that, and I was happy for him, and I wanted to help with that. But I don't like people controlling me, and I didn't appreciate it, especially when I was, you know, getting some stuff done, and he didn't want to be part of it because he wanted me to be part of his thing, and that's kind of the vibe that I got. And I was kind of like, and same thing with Don, same thing with a lot of different people, like it's kind of like, man, like we could work together and make something great happen, but I don't see why we have to fight over who the boss is or whatever, or compete, instead of a round table. I always liked the round table idea better. And there was a few other instances that clash between me and him happened but it wasn't from me. It was like the community. I was just doing what I do and had some answers that they were asking questions about as far as what we want to do next with voice in the Paradise community level. And they asked a question and he didn't have an answer, and I chimed in. I was like sitting at the table and I was like, well, I think we should do that. And they were like, whoa, like him and the community leader and his mom were both kind of like impressed by what I had to say. I didn't mean to try to show him up, but I just thought it would be best to say what I thought would be, the next step for voice or whatever. Basically, I don't know if he partied the night before or what, but he didn't have no answers, or if he gets stage fright in front of these people. But I never got stage fright in front of people with power. Like, in fact, I have some good ideas when I'm in these rooms with these people, because it's really just about how to make it better. So I think I never got, like, a couple times I got invited to those little group meetings, and then after that I didn't. And I think it was because, his mom wanted him to be the man, which is fine. Like I said, I wasn't trying to run voice. So that happened, and some stuff carried on after that, but it was just some weird stuff. It's already going to be the end of this, so I'm going to end it here. But I'm not trying to say anything negative about people. This is just I got nothing but love for everyone that I've ever met in the universe, in the best way. Like, really, like, he was a great leader. He did a great job, and I'm not trying to oust him, but this is some stuff that happened through the Butte County community that can't be explained unless I say it, like. And for the white folks and the people that are, run Butte County, it's like, shouldn't feel threatened by me or scared of me, or or think that anything other than, I'm here to help, really. Anyway, so I don't even know what I said in this video, but I hope it was happy Cinco de Mayo, and hopefully I'll make another vlog soon.